Fox News exclusively learning the Department of Homeland Security is apparently barring some Democratic staff members from visiting border facilities at the U.S. Mexican border. DHS telling Fox News, due to the operational burden placed on the field by their refusal to comply with instruction during last week's staff delegation visit, CBP pulled the trip in which more site visits were to take place at CBP and ICE facilities this week. DHS communicated to the committee that due to their conduct, CBP could not support visits from the committee this week. Well, Republican Congressman Doug Collins has visited the border this summer. He's representing a district in the great state of Georgia, and he joins us right now from Phoenix. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. How are you today?
I'm doing okay, but it seems extraordinary that the DHS is barring these Democratic staff members from going down to take a look at what's going on. Why would they do that?
Well, the one thing you go down is you go down to learn. You don't go down with your mind made up. You don't go down and have a determination that the Border Patrol agents are the villains in this. And that's what we're seeing. They're simply reflective of many of the members of the Democratic Party who refuse to actually look at what's going on the border, to refuse to see how these heroes who are working down there are doing overtime and busting their own lives up to fix what is down there. They would rather go down and complain. They'd rather go down and question. They would question their motives. I've heard reports of staff members questioning the motives of Border Patrol agents when they're simply trying to help some of the folks who have come across the border. So it's not surprising to me. They're simply reflecting members who don't want to solve a problem. They seem to enjoy having the issue much more than they would actually learn to solve it. It's a distraction to what's actually going on down there.
Well, Congressman, the reports are reportedly that these members of Congress on the Democratic side, staff members, they were disruptive, they interfered with law enforcement, some were rude and dismissive of the officers who are actually doing their job. Is that enough to say, hey, look, we're trying to do our job, you can't come back?
I think it sends a message to say, look, if you want to come down here and do the role that you're supposed to be, and that is to learn, that is to find out how we fix this problem, not simply demagogue this problem, then I think there's a way that we can make sure that it is open, and we need to have oversight down there. But if you go down there to interrupt what is actually happening, when you become the distraction, when you become the problem, then that's over the line. And I think they took the steps at this point to say, we're not going to have this. We have a job to do. You're here to observe the job, ask proper questions, do what you need to do, but also don't try to interfere with what's going on here either.
All right. Meanwhile, let's move on. I know that you are the ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee. It sounds like the Inspector General at the Department of Justice is about to drop his report. You know, if you know something, I'm sure you can't reveal too much, but what can you tell us about how close we are?
Well, I think we're very close, and I think the Inspector General has been doing a thorough look at this. I think at the end of the day, there's going to be some people who are not going to be happy. There's going to be you know, that corrupt little cabal that we've always talked about, McCabe and Comey and Page and Strzok and all these folks are now having to deal with the realities that their actions actually account for something. We're actually having to deal with the reality that, amazingly enough, the Department of Justice does not like folks who are dishonest with what they're talking about, how they lied about different things. So I think it's going to be an interesting day for the American people to see what we've been talking about for a long time, is that under McCabe and Comey and these folks, there was a corruption of truth. There's a politicization of what they're supposed to be doing, and they simply wanted to get at a president and a president-elect and then a president who is doing a good job that they can't stand. That has to stop, and this is reports are going to continue, I think, to shine the light on that.
Yeah, there are so many people who have heard these stories for so long, it will be good to finally see somebody connect the dots. And before you go, you represent a district in the great state of Georgia. One of the senators there from your state, Johnny Isakson, a Republican, is resigning, citing health issues. Just curious if you might be interested in that job.
Well, first and foremost, Georgia has suffered an amazing loss. Johnny Isakson is a man of stature. He is one of the politicians that have come forward and shown what leadership and statesmanship is like. I was the one who followed him for years. He's a mentor of mine. Georgia is suffering right now from that loss, and we in Georgia stand on his shoulders because he has provided Republican leadership for so long. You know, to be considered for that, I'm humbled by folks who are considering that. That's something that I would look at. But right now, we're focused on the fact that Johnny is such a leader in Georgia, and how we go forward with the groundwork he has laid has made Georgia much, much better.
All right. Well, let's see what develops. Congressman Doug Collins, ranking member, House Judiciary, joining us today from Arizona. Sir, thank you very much.